Let's start this beautiful morning's episode with this beautiful song. ए भाई जरा देख के चलो, आगे ही नहीं पीछे भी, दाएं ही नहीं बाएं भी, ऊपर ही नहीं नीचे भी। तू जहां आया है वो तेरा घर नहीं, गली नहीं, गांव नहीं, कुछ नहीं, बस्ती नहीं, रसन नहीं, दुनिया है। और प्यारे दुनिया ये सर्कस है, और सर्कस में बड़े को भी छोटे को भी, खड़े को भी खोटे को भी, दुबले को भी मोटे को भी, नीचे से ऊपर को, ऊपर से नीचे को आना जाना पड़ता है। और रिंग मास्टर के कोड़े पर कोड़ा जो भूखा है, कोड़ा जो प्यासा है, कोड़ा जो किस्मत है, तरह तरह नाच के दिखाना यहाँ पड़ता है। बार बार रोना और गाना यहाँ पड़ता है, हीरो से जोकर बन जाना पड़ता है। हे भाई, गिरने से डरता है क्यों, मरने से डरता है क्यों, ठोकर जब तक नहीं खाएगा, पास किसी के गम को जब तक नहीं बुलाएगा, जिंदगी है चीज क्या नहीं जान जाएगा, रोता हुआ आया है रोता हुआ जाएगा। ए भाई, क्या है करिश्मा, कैसा खिलवाड़ है, जानवर आदमी से ज्यादा वफादार है। खड़ा हो खड़ा है, खोड़ा भी रहता है, भूखा भी, फिर भी वो मालिक पे करता नहीं वार है। और इंसान ये माल जिसका खाता है, प्यार जिससे पाता है, गीत जिसके गाता है, उसके ही सीने में बुंग कटार है। ए भाई, हाँ बाबू, ये सर्कस तो घंटे का पहला घंटा बचपन है, दूसरा जवानी है, तीसरा बुढ़ापा है। और उसके बाद माँ नहीं, बाप नहीं, बेटा नहीं, बेटी नहीं, तू नहीं, मैं नहीं, ये नहीं, वो नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं रहता है। रहता है जो कुछ वो, खाली खाली कुर्सियां हैं, खाली खाली तंबू हैं, खाली खाली घेरा है, बिना चिड़िया के बसेरा है, ना तेरा है ना मेरा है। नाउ लेट्स फोकस ऑन दीज लाइंस। हाँ बाबू, ये सर्कस शो 3 घंटे का, पहला घंटा बचपन है, दूसरा जवानी है, तीसरा बुढ़ापा है। Isn't this eerily similar to Shakespeare's The Seven Ages, from a child to a toothless old person? It's so eerily similar. In fact, this song, when it says that ये दुनिया ये सर्कस है, for me 2021 was nothing more than a circus ring where somebody else, as the song says, was the ringmaster and we were just puppets. That's how I would describe 2019, 2020, and even 2021. Now let's get back to these lines. गिरने से डरता है क्यों, मरने से डरता है क्यों, ठोकर तू जब तक नहीं खाएगा, पास किसी के गम को ना जब तक बुलाएगा, जिंदगी है चीज क्या नहीं जान जाएगा. Well, this is very similar to what happened yesterday when India, after facing criticism about the events in Adelaide, which happened exactly a month ago. Remember, Adelaide 36. That's something the pseudo experts, the counterfeit experts, the print and electronic media, along with pseudo media, don't let people forget that. And the most ironical part is that everything about the celebrations pertaining to yesterday's win and all the praise the players are receiving when they chase down 330 against Australia at the Brisbane Cricket Ground or the Gabba or BCG, it's full of double standards. Because let me just give you a few lines when India
It's
lost the match
10:15.
at Adelaide. India need to negate tricky deliveries just outside the off stump. One of the former India players questioning a certain fast bowler who played a major role as far as the third and the fourth matches were concerned. The questioning the backup bowlers, that the backup bowlers would not be able to do the job. Then, when the backup bowlers did the job, when the entire debate and the discussion was around the Australian fast bowlers and spinners having an experience of 200 matches and more than 1,000 wickets, and the Indian fast bowlers having the experience of 5 or 6 matches and 7 to 8 wickets, the praises heaped are good, but it's like a chameleon changing colors, and that is what these pseudo counterfeit and pseudo media have done. The individuals on the pseudo media have done. And this is what is ironical about this entire thing, because yes, the match was won yesterday. It was a great effort chasing 330 in the ground, and the reiteration from every Tom, Harry, and D saying that it's a ground which has been defended by the home team for nearly 3.5 decades. They haven't lost a match, they have defended it. Teams play in this ground first so that the Australians can make sure that they lose the match and they lose the series. A few players going on to announce that, the former athletes and captains going on to announce that India will lose 4-0, and when they won 2-1, these individuals quickly change their colors. And that is what sport is, nothing more than ironical cauldron. And despite all the wins, I find all the praises heaped on them full of double standards. But that's the way things are meant to be, and that's how the sport is. You lose some, you win some, you win the series, grit, determination, all the world's most potent adjectives coming out in all forms, the emotions coming out from all quarters, as if no other sport exists, the as if no other sport is that important. But that's not the focus for right now. We will talk about other sports at a later juncture. But well, irony is what defines sports. Double standards, it is what defines sport, and that's how the sport is. It's like a circus. Well, if 2020 was a circus, 2021 is also a circus through another means. But what is that? I shall reveal that later. But before we go further, let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. While the Indian team and their support staff and everyone involved in yesterday's match enjoy the euphoria of winning the series and the tournament, there is one more celebration that is pertaining to India's number one talk show. The fact that another milestone is all set to be achieved. Just 10 episodes away from reaching the milestone of 325 episodes. Not far away from another great milestone, and we shall celebrate this milestone till the 325th episode. In that context, well, the euphoria of winning yesterday's match and the tournament not to be undone. There is still a lot of work to be done. So the selection committee, with an experience of 4 matches between them, who are unknown individuals, who were they, did they even play, and their relative inexperience compared to the players who did the job, but that's a different discussion. Whoever are the selection committee, they selected a group of players for the next tournament, which is the England tournament. Now let's look at the players selected for the England tournament. So Virat Kohli returns as the captain of the team, obviously after taking a short break due to personal reasons. Rohit Sharma returns. Mayank Agarwal keeps his place. Unfortunately, Prithvi Shaw is no longer in contention. He has been dropped. Shubman Gill, Pujara, Rahane are the obvious choices. Rahul is there in the team after an unfortunate injury ruled him out in that tournament. Pandya returns as the all-rounder. Pant, after his performances, keeps his place along with Saha because of the whole wicket-keeping issues. Ashwin as the all-rounder returns. Kuldeep Yadav as one of the spinners is there. Akshar Patel has returned, is in the team, which is good because they are looking at him as a spinning all-rounder, left arm spinning all-rounder. I always wanted this guy in the team, so he returns. Washington Sundar is there. Ishant Sharma returns. Bumrah returns, and Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur are there, but no Navdeep Saini because of injuries, if one can look in that direction. And then, of course, there are 10 backup players in Ankit Rajput, Avesh Khan, Sandeep Warrior, Krishnabha Gautam, Saurabh Kumar, KS Bharat, Abhimanyu Iswaran, Shabaz Nadeem, Rahul Chahar, and Priyank Panchal, who are what one calls making tons and tons of run as far as the domestic tournament, that is the Ranji Trophy, the Vijay Hazare, which is the 50 over tournament, and the Indian 20 domestic over tournament, that is the IPL. Yes, there is no other 20 over domestic tournament. For me, I do not even consider the Syed Mustaq Ali tournament as any tournament worth it. It's just a tournament that is being conducted to show that yes, India can host a tournament. But when I look at the quality of the tournament, the quality of the commentators, I see it more like a game that we played in the backyards. It looks like more backyards, bare empty grounds, no advertisements, no crowd and the quality of commentators, well, the less said, the better it is. And now this will be a big test for the Indian Cricket Board and the state governments hosting the England team, because can India take a gamble and allow spectators in the ground? Australia took that gamble. Yes, not everything went up to plan with all the accusation by the players of the audience saying things to them, but that's a different thing. Can the Indian Cricket Board and the state governments and the federal government afford to say that yes, it's time that we allow spectators back into the grounds? I think it's time that irrespective of the sport, whichever sport is being hosted, whether it's tennis, football tournaments, hockey, cricket, badminton, whatever tournaments are being hosted in India, should spectators apart from the designated staff be allowed? For me, it's a resounding yes. Yes, the staff should, yes, apart from the staff, the players, the match officials, the broadcasters, the production staff, audience should be allowed, and this is irrespective of the sport. It's time that the gamble is taken and audience is allowed. Look at how Australia allowed it. Yes, there were cases when people fell sick, but that is one thing which happens. That is a collateral damage one has to endure. But either they do something what the professional wrestling does, have LED boards where spectators can enjoy the match and the players feel they are part of the environment, just as they did in the Indian 20 domestic tournament in Dubai. Can they afford to have that kind of an arrangement? It depends on how the two cricket boards have a discussion. But looking at the team, I think it's a good team. Yes, a few individuals have missed out, but I'm disappointed that there is no Natarajan and no Navdeep Saini. Though we have a plethora of all-rounders in Pandya, Thakur, Ashwin, Patel, Washington Sundar, and of course Jadeja unfortunately misses out, but there are a lot of good players. Now, what will be the team? Well, that we will discuss later, but these are the 30 odd players who have been chosen. So means they don't have to call players as backups because they already have 10 players as backup apart from the 18 players who are in the team. Let's get back to the celebration of the 325th episode. Just 10 episodes away from the 325th episode. But before we go further, let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. As I was saying before,
It's 10:30.
episode number 315 is being celebrated tonight. And we are beginning the countdown to the 325th episode, which means only 10 episodes remain for the first major milestone of 2021. But if so, there's plenty of time. We will enjoy every episode in accordance to that. But before going further, let's take another short break. Welcome back after the break. Now, as the tradition of this talk show goes, end let's end tonight's episode, this morning's episode, in fact, by reading from David Baldacci's The Fix, starting with chapter 6. Welcome back after the break. A substitute school teacher said Decker. He was looking around at Anne Berkshire's condo on the top floor of a luxury building directly across the street from the Reston town center. Milligan nodded. That's what her file says. You know this area better than me. What do you think a place like this would run? Milligan looked around at the space. It had tall windows, high ceilings, hardwood floors, about 3,000 square feet of professionally decorated space with sweeping views of the area and a large private balcony with a hot tub. 2 million, maybe more, and the building management says she has a Mercedes SL 600 parked in the underground garage. That's well over 100 grand, said Milligan. Did she inherit? I don't know. We'll have to dig on that. How long has she been a teacher? She's been substitute teaching for 4 years. Before that, she lived in Atlanta for 3 years. Doing what? We don't know. We don't have an occupation, just an address. Before that, Seattle. So no job there either. 5 minutes later, Milligan got out and shook his head. Nothing. Smells like it was just taken off the lot. Decker held up. Not that we could find. Before that, we didn't find anything else on her. How far does her file go back? When you add it all up, about 10 years. But she was nearly 60, so that takes her back to her late 40s. What about before then? We couldn't find anything, but we haven't had much time to dig yet. Something else will turn up, and it will probably explain the money angle. She might have been injured in an accident and gotten a big settlement, or maybe a malpractice suit. Hell, maybe she won the lottery. Decker didn't look very convinced. She's very neat. I think the term would be minimalist, said Decker, noting the spare furnishings. He walked into the master bedroom and looked through the walk in closet. Four pairs of shoes, a few purses and bags, no jewelry that I can see, and no safe where they might be kept. He looked at Milligan. We weren't rich by any stretch, but my wife had probably 30 pairs of shoes and about that many purses and bags. And she had some jewelry. Milligan nodded. Mine does too. Do you think Berkshire was just unique or is it something else? I also haven't seen a single photo of anyone, not Berkshire, or family or friends. Nothing. In fact, the entire place looks like a model unit. I bet she bought it furnished and none of this is even hers. What does that tell us? That maybe she was not who she appeared to be. You think Dabney knew her? Maybe. And did we confirm that she was going to the FBI? I just assumed that because of where she was, but we need more than assumptions now. Let's take a short break before we proceed further. Welcome back after the break. We have confirmed that she wasn't scheduled to meet with anyone at Hoover, and visitors just coming to tour the place need to file a request ahead of time so that the Bureau can do a background check, and there is no record of such a request for her. Decker sat on the bed and looked around the room. She leaves here, goes to the hospice, and then heads downtown. She had a metro card in her purse that showed she got off at the Federal Triangle stop about 10 minutes before she was killed, and she was seen in one of the surveillance cameras leaving that station, and then Dabney shoots her. Milligan stared at Decker. If he planned to shoot her, how did he know what time she was going to be there or that she was going to be there at all? Maybe he was the reason she was there, suggested Decker. What? He communicated with her and told her to meet him outside the FBI building? Maybe. We are checking phone, email, text, fax, all the typical communication portal to see if we can find a connection. They may have done it face to face. If so, we may not find a record. If he didn't plan for her to come there, then only two other explanations make sense. He either knew she was going to be there from some other means or it was a coincidence, finished Milligan, and he could have easily killed someone other than Berkshire. And if so, for what reason? Why kill a stranger in such a random fashion other than the guy being nuts? Milligan shook his head. I don't have a clue. Decker rose off the bed and held up a set of car keys. They are to the Mercedes. They were in a drawer in her closet. Let's check it out. Berkshire's Mercedes was a silver convertible and sat in a coveted slot near the elevators. Decker used a wireless key fob to open the vehicle and Milligan began to search it. The confines of the car were too small for the bulky Decker to easily navigate. Milligan handed Decker a packet of materials from the glove box and continued his search. This ends episode number 315 on the 20th of Jan 2021. Stay tuned for the next episode number 316 on the 22nd of Jan 2021 on Friday.